Is your story significant? So many times we think our stories are insignificant. We think our lives do not matter. We think that no one wants to hear our story, but that's the exact opposite truth that God wants to use you with. Hey guys, my name is Aaron. I'm the youth pastor here in the Illinois Student Ministries. Revelations tells us that we overcome the enemy by the blood of the Lamb, that is Jesus Christ's salvation, and the word of our testimony. Did you know that your story has power? It has power to change lives, not necessarily what you say, but more importantly, of who God is in your life, through your life, be an example to somebody else. We say here at Meadowbrook Youth all the time, your story is not just your story, but when you share it, it becomes our story. When you share what God's doing in your life, it becomes our story and it builds up our faith as well. I think about the story in the Bible where Jesus encounters a woman at the well. She had a lot of challenges in her life. She had gone through a lot of different things, searching for answers all throughout her life. And she finally met the Messiah, and it radically changed her life in Jesus. She then took that moment, did not hold on to it, but went to her community and told everyone that she encountered, come and see the one who has answered all of my questions. Come and see. She had a story to tell. She could not hold it to herself and had to tell somebody else. And you and I have been given a story. Even if it's just the story of salvation. You used to be outside of Christ, outside of hope and purpose, but now because of Jesus, He's given you life. He's given you salvation. He's given you purpose. He's done something that is worth telling. You and I are now what's called a witness of what God's done. We've seen and heard who He is in our lives, and God has called us not necessarily to debate with somebody, but just to simply tell our story about what God has done. I grew up in the church, and I thought that I had no story to tell. My life didn't seem like it was transformed overnight and had this radical change. But my story is more of a story of what God prevented me from instead of what He saved me from. Now, certainly I had my own issues and challenges that God certainly saved me from, but I didn't realize the power of my story until I came into contact with those who had dealt with drug addiction all throughout high school, college, and their adult years. And when I shared the story of how God had protected me and saved me from those things, they were amazed to hear that God had the power to do that. Never discount the power of your story. Whether it's a story that's very dynamic and maybe you were dealing with a lot of things and Christ came and saved you, or whether you're like me and you grew up in the church and you're not really confident of your story, don't be ashamed of your story because there is power still in that story. Maybe something happened just this week that God's now asking you, don't hold that story. Share it with others so it can become our story. Here in the Illinois Student Ministries, we want to encourage you and challenge you to share your story. What's something that God's done in your life recently that needs to be heard by other people? You have been a witness of God's miraculous power in your life. Whether you think it's simple or not, God desires that you do not contain that story, but that you share it with somebody else. You never know, through your story, someone's life could be changed for eternity. So don't hold it onto yourself. You guys have the most incredible platform through social media, and you know how to use it. So we're challenging you. Share your story, tag ISM, and let's see how God can use your story to impact eternity. Can't wait to see them, and can't wait to hear more of your stories here soon.